In today's video, man, I want to talk about something that I haven't spoken about a lot on this channel. And that's how to save your first 10K. For a while, I've been saying to myself, I have no right to speak about this because I'm not a millionaire, right? But then I realized something. I don't have to be a millionaire to talk about this topic. I just have to be like one step ahead of you or whoever's watching this video who still hasn't have their first 10K saved. So before you start saying, well, I don't earn enough or I don't have enough money left to save, I want to tell you something that might blow your mind. You are a thief of your own wallet. That's a saying they have here in the Netherlands. Dief zijn van je eigen portemonnee. Basically meaning, if you're not saving money, you're sabotaging yourself. And I'm going to tell you why. I have a job as a social worker, right? I think that's considered one of the maybe lowest paying jobs in the world. I don't know. But the thing is, I am still able to save. Yes, I have a rent that's pretty low. But if I look at it, maybe the half of my salary is going to utilities, right? And I also have student loans. So I'm paying about 245 euros a month, which is, in my opinion, pretty much. But you know what? I had a loan. I'm not proud of it. But I have to live with the consequences. And still, I'm able to save money every month. I save around 800 to 1,000 euros a month. And every once in a while, when I go a little crazy, maybe on groceries, I have to take something away from my savings. But that doesn't happen a lot. My point is, even with a low income, you can save. You just have to save according to your budget, right? For example, I'm able to save 1,000, but maybe you're only able to save 50. Whatever you do, make sure you save that. They say a lot of times, pay yourself first, and I get that. But I'd rather have my utilities paid before I save money, because otherwise you're kind of fooling yourself, in my opinion. Why would you have 5,000 euros in a bank account or $5,000 while you haven't paid, let's say, a bill you're behind on, right? I don't believe in that. So what I do is I just pay everything I have to pay, and whatever is left, usually it's pretty consistent, like I said, that's what I'm saving. And I'm also investing. I invest in the S&P 500 almost every month, depending on what's left, right? Because I'd rather have cash money right now as a buffer instead of putting everything in the investments. And some people may say that's not the right way to do it. To each their own. I know that if something happens right now, maybe my fridge breaks down, my phone breaks, or whatever, I have the money to actually go and buy it without having to worry about it. My planning is, as long as I have like 20K, for example, saved, what I want to do is start investing a bit more. Again, I'd rather have the buffer, because the buffer is not only for me. It's also for someone maybe close to me who doesn't have the financial capacity to take care of themselves. But every person has a different buffer, and that's totally fine. Look at your subscriptions. Do you have like Netflix, YouTube, Spotify, some cable thing you don't even use? Cancel those things. Cancel them out. I canceled everything. The only thing I have is Netflix. And even that, I'm watching a joint account with my girlfriend. I don't have Spotify. I just listen to videos on YouTube. I make sure that nothing I pay is double. I make sure that if there's a discount, I get that discount. Because listen, if you don't, you're setting yourself up for failure. You're making other companies rich while you can use their money. And even if it's $2, let's say if you save $2 a month, times 12, it's still some money you can put in the bank, right? Or invest. There's no need to have 20,000 subscriptions on things that are actually not even that important. It means you have to sacrifice a little bit in order for you to benefit from it in the future. So save up whatever you can save, right? What I also do is, if I have cash money lying around, I just put them in this jar that counts the money, right? I think I have like 100 euros in cash, in coins, saved, just because I can. The mental peace you get having a little bit of a buffer is amazing. By the way, I expected when I get my first 10K, I will feel very wealthy. But I don't. It's psychologically maybe do something to your brain. But if you look at it, 10,000 is not a lot. But it saves you a lot of headaches, because if you don't have that money, you might have to borrow something from someone, or maybe get another loan with a lot of interest, and I don't have to think about that. And you know what I noticed also? When you hit your first 10K, you start thinking of possibilities. Even though it's technically not a lot of money, but having the 10K saved, you might do an investment maybe in yourself, in a course, in a business, even if it's $1,000, and still be okay. Of course, my goal is to go beyond 10K, 20, 30, 50, you know? But right now, I don't want to say I'm good, but it gives you a mental peace. If I lose my job tomorrow, I know that for the coming months, I still have money to live off. Of course, you don't want to blow it all and spend it on bullshit, but I know that if something happens right now, I'm covered. So another thing is, Even if you get your first 1,000, 5,000, celebrate that. And I'm not saying celebrate it in a way of spending it. Celebrate the fact that you were disciplined enough to get that far, because saving up money adds a lot of discipline, right? It's easier to go outside and spend that money, but if you can look at it and see that amount grow in your bank account, that's a win, man. So you have to stand still and celebrate that. Another thing, make sure that you get interest on your savings. Here in the Netherlands, it's not a lot. I have like this bank account and it has like maybe 2%, but it's better than nothing. And the more, of course, you have saved, the more interest you're going to get. I don't know if you know this, but the prices of groceries are going up. The prices of houses, rent, everything is going up. And you need to start thinking about your future, man. Don't only rely on your pension you think is being saved up for you, but make sure that you put money aside in order for you to be prepared when it's time to retire, or even to retire before it's time to retire. You know what I'm saying? So save your money, man. Stop spending it on bullshit. Another thing that works for me is paying things cash. If you pay something cash, you're actually giving away, you're feeling that you're giving away your energy, your money, because money is energy, right? But if you pay by card, you don't feel it as much because you're not really seeing the money go away. Of course, you can see it in your bank account, but giving away the money actually does something to you. It has been studied. So pay cash, and also you can have control of what you're spending. I give myself a budget of, let's say, $60 a week. That means I get to buy groceries with the money. If I want to do something fun, I do that. Otherwise, you'll be spending, and then eventually at the end of the month, you have a couple of days left and your money is gone. And that means you have to take it out of your savings, for example. You don't want that. And it's okay if it happens once in a while, but if it becomes like a habit, you're not really saving. You're just putting money aside that you can use later for whatever. And it's not necessary, man. I remember being a student. I think I had, but this is like 10 years ago. The prices were different. I had like 300 euros a month to live off after everything was paid. And that is not a lot of money, man. I don't have to tell you, but you know, I didn't have any other option and I made it work. But now that I have more room, it's easier to fall off, to slack, and to spend more, right? But if you think in the same mindset that you did when you didn't have that amount of money, you can save up a lot of money. I think I said money a lot in those sentences, but you get what I'm saying, right? So make sure you save your money, man, because rainy days can come unexpectedly, and you're going to be happy you have something to help yourself out without having to ask other people for help. Anyway, I hope you found value in today's video. If so, like, share, subscribe. Leave it down in the comment sections. How far are you with your savings? Or have you already saved up 10K? Maybe you passed 10K, whatever. If you made it this far, thank you for your time, and I'll see you in the next one.